Hello everyone, this is Gleb Bakhmutov, and today I want to show you a video partly from a lesson in my Cypress network testing exercises course available online. As you can see, there are quite a few lessons, and this is one of the latest lessons confirming that all CSS resources have finished loading successfully. Currently, the test simply opens a page, and if we look at the network tab, and we look at all the resources the page downloads, notice there is style CSS that fails to load with a status code of 404. There is another CSS that loads successfully. We don't know how many CSS resources this page loads. Our task is to make sure that all of them load. So we can set up intercepts to spy on all CSS resources. We can simply say wildcard CSS and we give it an alias. And because we're not waiting enough, we don't know when to finish waiting for all the resources because we know how many of them. Why don't we do the following? We'll get all CSS intercepts, right, using .all, alias.all syntax, and it's an array, so we'll say should have length greater than, and let's say we know that there is at least 2. So we can check it using this assertion. It's kind of noisy, that's fine. We can do maybe something like its length property and say should be greater than 1. And it's the same assertion, just much cleaner. We can do the following. We can grab the resources, and if we look at what the intercepts give us, it's an array of intercepts, and each intercept has a request and response object, and it has a state property, and if everything goes well, then it should say complete. So what we can do now is get all intercepts and map each one to its, let's say, state. Okay, so scimap query comes from my plugin Cypress Map. Okay, and that makes it available right here. So this yields an array of strings, and we can invoke, let's say, filter, and let's say state, let's say filter, and all of them should be complete. Actually, let's just say not complete, and we'll say should be empty, right? Not maps, but map. So this confirms that all CSS requests finished. Now we can confirm that all of them finished successfully. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I will do the following. In addition to state, I'm going to grab response status code property. So scimap from Cypress Map plugin supports picking properties from each object in the array subject, even if you specify nested properties using that notation. So again, we're just gonna filter, and this time we can filter by the status code. So now we have an object, so I'll say this is intercept status code, and in this case it could be 200, 304 if it was cached in browser. So I'll say anything that's 400 or higher. That's an error code. It could be 404, it could be 500. So in this case, notice that there is one request that has completed, right? Because we checked it right here. And if we look at the status code, then it's error. And right now we don't actually know which intercept it is, what was the URL. So why don't we grab the URL as well? So I'll say request URL. So now we have URL property, and it will be reflected in the error message because we print the full array, including all the object properties, and we don't truncate it because I set the chai config property. So now we can clearly see that this CSS resource, right, /styles.css fails to load. Maybe the URL is misspelled, maybe the file is not present, or maybe some other error, but this is something we should fix. I'm gonna put a link to the full course in the description of this video.